Hello, listeners, and welcome to the 6th episode of All in Our Business Podcast, the show where we discuss hot and controversial relationship topics while sharing our love journey along the way. I'm your host, TC.
And I'm your girl, Kiki.
And we're going to get right into it today, so go ahead, baby, let us know what that topic is today.
Okay. So everyone is looking for unconditional love, but yet they have a list of conditions, like I can't marry you, or I can't date you unless you make this, you look this way, you dress like this, or even have these qualities, right? We hear it all the time. How can you expect unconditional love with a laundry list of conditions? The very same is true when it comes to expectations. Many people expect so much from their spouse. I mean, even qualities or things they don't even possess themselves. People say it all the time. I can't expect me from you. Like, I just can't. But on the contrary, aren't there certain things that you require in a relationship? Like perhaps standards? So let's get into it today, babe. Our topic that we're going to discuss is expectations versus standards.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
I think it'll be a good one.
Okay, start us off with that good scripture.
Get us started with that scripture. So we're going to go from Matthew 7:2. For you will be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged.
Say it again, baby. Say it again.
For you will be treated as you treat others.
Come on, Pastor.
So remember to treat people well if you want to be treated well.
Come on.
The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged.
The scripture just said that.
If that ain't slap you in the back of your head, that's your moment.
No, that is really, really, really good.
It definitely is. So that's a great, jump right into expectations and standards. So let's get us going.
Okay. So let's clearly identify both. Like, let's discuss it. What are expectations and then what are standards?
Well, I guess first we got to describe or give the definition of both.
Yeah.
So expectations, I take it as what you desire to happen or want to happen in your relationship. And then standards are the level of quality and behaviors you will accept or demand in your relationship.
Well,
so you can see how they're slightly different. Standards can, be expectations, but it's hard for expectations to be standards.
That's good.
And I say it like that. And I say it like this because you can't expect somebody to do something if you've never expressed that to them or told them what you expect. A lot of times people go into relationships based on past relationships or what they see on TV or whatever, and they think this is how it's supposed to be. But they've never sit down and talked with their partner to get the understanding of what they expect from them.
Absolutely.
And they're sitting there thinking, you're a man, you're supposed to do this.
I want you doing this, that, and the other. And it's like, we haven't even had that conversation. Yeah. And then I think kind of what you're saying also with expectations, we see it all the time. People, they put other people relationships as a model for how they want their relationships to be. So I expect this because I've seen this happen over here in this relationship. That's just for that relationship. Right. Whatever that relationship consists of may not necessarily work for your relationship. Right. So I think the two of you should sit down and have that open conversation to discuss. This is what I want in a partner. This is what I expect or hope that you can bring to the table.
But you got to come to understand when it comes to that too. Even if you might see couples who you want to model after, that's fine. But you don't know what they go through when you're not there with them.
Very true.
So you definitely have to keep that in mind. You don't know how they handle things when they're not in front of you. And then in front of you, they might put on a front and act like everything's great, everything's peachy. But when they get home, they literally at each other's throat.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. So you're modeling yourself after what you hear to see, not knowing the reality.
The actuality, exactly. Yeah, you got to be very careful of that. Yes, I like how you broke that down. Like, expectations is what you desire to happen. Like, I expect, when I get married, I expect you to do this, that, and the other, because that's what I
expect my man to rub my little feet.
Oh, God. That's more like a standard. Versus, so like what we're saying, a standard is a level of quality or behaviors that you will accept or demand. So I think for me, like an example, I would say, if I come into a relationship and I expect you every time I call to answer the phone. That's the expectation. If I call you, I'm your woman, you're supposed to answer this phone. Versus a standard is more so your quality. I expect you to be honest or transparent. I didn't get to the phone because I was doing such an XYZ. And I know that because I know your quality, or I know your character. So that's based upon the standard.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah. So like for you may say for a standard, I want a woman that respects me. Like that's a standard. I'm not accepting anything less.
Definitely a standard for 98.999% of men. That is
really
a standard. That's
not
an expectation.
Right. Yeah.
But even in that same light, if you don't express that to your woman, she doesn't know.
Absolutely.
We definitely had.
We sat down
a conversation for very early in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat down, and I think we both listed 4 or 5 things we kind of expect, and those became standards because we expressed them to each other.
And I think we also had standards. So for me, I think the standard happened before we even got in a relationship, right? Because I knew this is the model, this is what I want in a partner, and I wasn't accepting anything less. So when we started to date, and as we were early on dating, or even just, talking before we got to the dating stage, I was able to say, okay, you are meeting these standards, so yes, you can move to the next phase. I think sometimes if that person is not...
I had to move to the next phase.
Yes, we wouldn't have started dating if you didn't have a certain standard. Like if you weren't respectful, if you weren't kind, if you were very selfish, we weren't going to start dating.
Head of the class?
Right now.
Oh.
There's so many other kids in the classroom. I'm just teasing you. You always at the head of the class for me, baby.
Okay.
There you go, yes. So, no, and I think, just to lead to the next question, like, are expectations and standards bad? I think that's good. To have something to have as a baseline to say what I'm going to accept, what I'm not going to accept. Because otherwise you would accept anything, right?
That is true.
And with both, I think you just need to, when you're with your partner and you realize this is the person for you because they've met that standard, the next thing to do is sit down and say, this is the expectation. This is what I expect. Mm-hmm. In a relationship. And I think we were both clear. I said, I don't want a relationship where it's a whole bunch of toxic nonsense going on.
She said, I want this relationship to be easy.
I said that.
But, of course, I had to let her know.
Mm-hmm, you did.
I understand that's your expectation, but I can't promise you.
You did.
We're not going to have bumps in the road. We're not going to have ups and downs. But I promise you that I will continually work on whatever it is, and I will continually love you.
Absolutely.
So I think that expectation, I turned it into a standard for her to let her know. Regardless what we're going through, I'm going to be here for you, good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what, those are the kind of conversations you need to have when you first start a relationship, so you can understand where that person's coming from.
Yeah. Because
just like last week, you don't know what baggage they're bringing into that relationship. And if you never had conversations about, past things, and she used to tell me this all the time. She's like, you're always asking a lot of questions. And I said, because I want to know how to love you.
You did, baby.
I really want to know how to love you. So I need to know the things that you've been through, traumatized you've been through, that you don't like, things that trigger you. I need to know how to navigate our relationship so I don't bring up some bad things that you might still have in there that you haven't completely healed from.
Absolutely, yeah. Vice versa. And I think we talk about this all the time. I had to do the same with you, but you're like an onion. You have many different layers, and I have to...
At least you ain't saying shields.
I didn't go with the shields this week. No, but you have layers, and I have to literally unpeel some of the outer layers to really get to the core.
Okay, say the meat of it. You know you want to say the meat.
I'm not saying it. I gotta get down to the meat of it. No, and that's still good because that allowed me to learn you. It allowed me to know, the same thing that you had. Any issues, any trauma, anything, any things that makes you happy or whatever. I had that understanding early on so that I can better love you as well, because that's the goal. It shouldn't be one-sided. I don't want you to know me so well that you want to love me so wonderfully that I'm not able to do the same for you. Right. I need to know as a man, at you being a man, how I, as your woman, can love you. Mm-hmm. And that comes with communication and everything else. So again, I don't think expectations and standards are bad. It kind of sets the foundation, right? Because if we didn't have that foundation, that first layer, or we didn't have that strong core to hold a relationship together, I don't think it would be as successful as it is. And often we go back to our core standards sometimes. We know even in the heat of a dust-up, you're not going to go cursing me out because you have a standard of respect for me.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a level of respect for you. So even when you're irritating me or doing whatever you're doing, I'm not coming at you like that. I'm not putting my hands on you.
Right.
I'm not disrespecting.
You can put your hands
I'll
on
put my hand. There you go. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, but I'm not hurt. Well, okay, I'm not going to do it
Hey, sometimes. Okay, my bad.
I'm not. It's not the intent to hurt you or do bodily harm to you. Let's just say that.
Put your hands on me to
yes,
physically harm.
There you go. Yeah, in a violent way. So yeah, I think our relationship is strong because we've had that foundation, we've had those standards. I don't think necessarily we have expectations though, or maybe do we have them? And
I think we do. Mm-hmm. Or initially we did, and I don't want to share this, but one of mine. Hey, I'm gonna try to decode this. So my thing is physical touch. So.
Not your thing. Oh, we know.
My love language is physical touch. So my expectation was I need a certain type of woman.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yes.
I'm trying not to go too deep on y'all on the because it might start something up in here.
I'm telling you.
Let's just say yeah. So that was one of the expectations, and that actually was a dust-up one time from
a few times.
A couple of times, where I expected certain things. Mm-hmm. And I know she probably don't want me to share this, but I'm going to. And ladies, keep this in mind. Don't promise your man you're going to do something if you're not going to deliver.
TC, we'll come back to this next time on the next episode, babe.
It might not be a next episode.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Go ahead, babe.
But I'm just trying to be transparent and sharing a little something. But that was one of my expectations.
Okay, so
which hold on, in my defense, which was not necessarily fair to her until I was open enough to express that to her.
Right.
So until she knew.
Yes.
And I would tell her all the time after we had the conversation, babe, are you sure you mean that? Mm-hmm. And she would, nah, I'll take that back. Because she knew I would take it a certain way.
Well, you didn't express to our wonderful listeners what you're talking about because you were so busy decoding
I'm talking about getting the good. I'm talking about getting the the juice.
No. Okay, so
but that's what we're talking about.
We are, but what I'm also saying is that we had many dust-ups because I would say later tonight we'll do something.
I'll take care of you later. She would say, I'll take care of you later.
And you were so excited.
And the moment she would say that, I'm like...
No, initially you were like, yes.
Right.
And then when the time came, because again, what we talked about last week, a long day, a lot going on, you get so discombobulated with just doing 1,000,001 things. And Kiki, she has her to-do list, and I'm very structured.
And I went on a to-do list.
TC is more free-flowing. He was on there, but it was at the very... It was. And we had that conversation too, because you're at the bottom, you had a problem with that. So because I told him, babe, wait till tonight, or give me some time, and the time never came because I probably passed out when the night came and went to sleep, he was angry. And he was angry because I expressed to him and I told him that I would do something that I didn't do. And he was expecting that because I told him that I was going to do that and I didn't deliver. So that was the bigger problem. But thankfully, it wasn't a standard issue that you had with me to say, oh, you know what, you're not a woman of your word, or you're a dishonest woman. You didn't take it from that angle. You just took it as, just don't commit to something. Just don't say it. Don't let it leave your lips. And not really be able to fulfill that exactly because you're going to have a problem with it. So we had to learn that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now what he was just now saying was that now sometimes I will...
She still making them statements now. But I come
through on them statements now.
I'll give her that.
Hey.
Sometimes I'll be like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you know.
And she's like, nah.
Let me take that back. Let me take that back. You have to start saying no take backs.
Like I say, I want you to tell me. If you're not up for it, you're not up for it. It's fine.
But we'll get to that in that episode, because that is not the case. That is not the case. Let's keep on moving.
I'm talking about where you're just too tired or you tired.
Babe, now you know. TC.
That's what we doing.
TC, you know that is not an acceptable answer for you.
It is.
Okay, next. No, I can tell you till I'm blue in the face, and guess what? You ain't hearing that. If I'm like, nah, not tonight,
right.
you gonna do something like,
right.
come over here.
I'm gonna try something.
You gonna do
Hey, baby, you want a massage?
Yeah, you want the little feetsies rub, and then I fall right forward. So no. So the next question. This leads to our next question, or next statement, that unmet or unrealistic expectations often lead to disappointment. And can a lack of standards, or even having high standards, be led to not selecting a good person?
That's deep. That's a lot going on there.
Okay. I'm sure you can handle it with your Merlin degree.
Mm-hmm. I'm for sure the unmet expectations definitely can lead to resentment, bitterness, sometimes just straight up anger. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I had a moment where I was just straight up angry and I just kind of walked out.
Mm-hmm. Not with me though. You talking about previously?
Oh no, I'm talking about with you.
You ain't talking about with me.
I walked out.
You gonna bring your excuse me? You gonna bring your little?
I came back.
Oh, okay.
I came out. I came out in the living room, sit down for a little.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you talking about walking out, like walking out? Oh, yeah. Because I'm about to say we ain't going. Yeah. Okay.
I realized.
Oh yeah, you like to walk out in the living room. Shut the door a little bit.
Shut the door a little loudly, as I like to call it. I shut the door a little loudly. But I came out of the room and I had to
make a U-turn.
Oh, I had to assess myself. Mm-hmm. And God told me, look, no.
Thank you.
And you know.
Dead wrong.
Don't do that.
Putting Kiki through that. You dead.
You gonna milk this one. I got you.
God told you. Thank you, God.
But even if you think about it, just the tagline off of that, God told me that. Mm-hmm. That's a standard.
Hello.
That should be a standard for you, man or female. Mm-hmm. You want a godly partner. Mm-hmm. You want someone who's gonna take that Holy Spirit and listen to it, and then come back, and they're not afraid to apologize.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So that's big.
Absolutely.
Keep that in mind, folks. If you're in a relationship and they don't have a relationship with God,
say it again.
You got to make that a standard.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's even times, and we joke about it, but it's the God honest truth that I'm like, I hear God talking to me and telling me go back and correct your behavior, and I have to come back to you and be like, babe, that shouldn't have came off like that, or I ain't mean it like that. And I often tell you that, like, I ain't mean it like that. Yeah. Don't hold me to it. So, but that's good. That is really, really good, and that's important. Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. So I think unrealistic expectations, like changing your values or your source of happiness for your partner, that's unrealistic. I'm not going to change my happiness for a partner. So if they're expecting that from you, I think that's problematic.
That is extremely problematic.
Yeah.
Because you're not being your authentic self.
Exactly.
And if they can't love who you are authentically or genuinely, then they don't love you.
Yeah. The same thing with having too high of expectations. It can easily damage your relationship. If you expect so much and you're like, I never can meet your expectation.
No matter what I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Which kind of leaves me.
I made you steak and potatoes.
Everything. But they kind of
like you because it was Yukon potatoes and not russet.
There you go. But I think maybe that means you just didn't love that person. I think it's something deeper than just that. Yeah, I think it's definitely deeper.
Like, as we spoke about last week, you make allowances for people's faults.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your partner's fault. So if you quickly find something to nag or complain about, you're not taking allowance. You're not being patient with that person. Mm-hmm. That person is human, just like you. You make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Just like they do.
Absolutely.
So you have to be patient with them. They have to be patient with you. Y'all have to work hard at doing everything.
You do.
Together.
You do.
Keeping it together. Speaking, talking, watching how you're talking. Mm-hmm. It's just everything encompassing. How the relationship goes on how you interact with that other person.
That's very true,
and
baby.
if you have any resentment or anything inside of you,
yeah, that's not gonna work.
You're never gonna get to
absolutely.
where you need to get.
Yeah. You're gonna definitely have to heal from that to be able to move forward. Yeah. Now I've heard people say things like, "I don't want a relationship where someone just expects something from me." Does that mean you're just not ready for a relationship? Because in a relationship, there has to be some type of expectations, right?
There have to be some kind of right in a relationship. You can't expect them to do everything for you and then you do nothing for them. I don't know anybody in the world who can take that to that level where they just constantly are being taken from and nothing's being poured back
into them. Right.
They're literally going to be drained, and the first thing they're going to do is they're bouncing. Wow. Because they cannot, and they will not ever meet your expectations. No matter how much stuff they do for you, you're going to always want more. Yeah. It's almost sort of like an addiction or like a drug. You just want more. You get that hit, and then you need a higher hit. And you just keep going. Hey, I want them to do this. I want them to do this. I need this. I need this. I want that. I want this. And you'll never meet their expectations.
Right. It's never going to be attained.
Never. So if you're in a relationship like that where that person's constantly asking for things from you and getting nothing in return, you might want to look in that mirror and go, am I really in love with this person? Or am I really in a relationship with this person? Or they just using me? Are they just using me? Like I'm a banker or something. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not what you want. Because those expectations, I promise you, will never be met. Ever. Yeah. Because they don't have the capacity to understand. I'm the one always asking for stuff, but yet I never give. Yeah. So true. My pastor said when I first got married, and I asked him this.
And you kind of live by this.
I do. I asked him, I said, is it possible, because my parents got divorced. I can't remember which age I was, probably about 11, 12, something like that. And I asked, is it possible to expect too much from your partner because of the trauma of seeing my parents get divorced, and I don't want to experience that. And he literally, he told me, he said, look, you're going to burn yourself out going in that route. He said, because you'll never be able to ensure that nothing will happen or that person won't want to leave you. Yeah. You'll constantly be just trying to do too much. Yeah. And you'll burn yourself out. Yeah. We talk about that. That's a whole nother topic right there, burnout, because that's real. It is. That's really real. Yeah. So let me ask you, I know that we talked about unrealistic expectations. So unrealistic expectations versus healthy expectations in a relationship. So I think like an unrealistic expectation is that kind of like what we talked about earlier. I said, we should never have arguments. And a healthy expectation was you saying we can handle conflict with respect and understanding. And I've been married for 19 years, so I've been through a lot of stuff. So that's one of the things I definitely brought into this relationship, where I knew, okay, some things you got to navigate differently. You do. Not everything is going to be argument or dust up in our case, but things just have to be talked about. Yeah. You cannot avoid conversation. Yeah. Even if you don't want to talk about it today, that's fine. We'll talk about it tomorrow or next week or whatever, but we got to address it. Because if not, it's going to eat at not just me, it's going to eat at you. And then we went from holding hands to, now we walking down the street on the opposite side of the street. I think you sent me an illustration, Instagram, about a couple weeks ago, where they were doing like a little study, and they had married couples come in, and they had them stand back to back. And then they said, take 2 steps if you don't eat dinner every night. Take 2 steps if you don't give your spouse a kiss in the morning before you leave. And you would see some of these folks, they were so far apart from each other by the end of the study, and that visualization definitely was impactful for them, because they realized, oh my gosh, we're just kind of going through the routine of being married and not really there for each other. Not close. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it showed how far you really are apart from each other rather than close. And that's not the goal. Yeah, definitely. And I was sitting there thinking, if me and Kiki was to do that, we probably
turn around, you right here in my face.
Right here.
Right here.
Right here, homie.
So, another unrealistic expectation is, I hear it all the time, my partner should be perfect all the time. Like, people literally expect that.
That's crazy.
It sounds crazy, but people literally expect that.
It don't sound crazy. It is.
Yeah. So I think a healthy expectation is we will focus on love and embrace the imperfections.
That is, yes.
And we've had to learn that within ourselves, you and I, because I think probably me more than you strive for perfection, but you in different areas. I don't know. You're still very competitive. And
I'm extremely competitive.
Yeah.
So when it comes to things like that, I will go the extra mile. But I understand certain things in life, I can't change it.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I've always lived like, if I can't change it, I'm not going to really stress over it. I'm not trying to be perfect in that aspect.
And I think it's okay.
Because we know we're not perfect.
Exactly.
I don't know
exactly. So don't expect that from your partner then. If you know that you're not, you can't have the expectation of them.
I never asked for that.
Yeah.
I want that.
So kind of like in closing, like, how do you manage expectations and standards? We kind of talked about it. We discussed communication, like discuss them openly and honestly with your partner. Sit down so they're clear as to what the expectations and standards are in a relationship. Be realistic. Recognize that no relationship is perfect and there will be challenges, kind of what we discussed earlier.
That is definitely a one to keep in mind. Be realistic about your partner. You've been around them long enough to know your partner.
To know them, yeah.
You know when they don't want to do something. You know when they ain't really feeling it.
At least you should.
You know when they're super excited.
Yeah.
You know them.
Yeah.
And if you just really think about it, you can connect with them on another level because you really, tap into what they have going on.
Yeah, definitely. And manage your emotions. Don't let it take over your relationship or hinder your ability to continue to love each other and show love to your partner. That's huge.
That's huge. That's definitely huge.
Be open to compromise. We talked about that.
That is a big one when it comes to us.
You have to be willing to adjust to your expectations and to accommodate your partner's needs.
That one for us was, one that we really, we're still working on it. Because we're not perfect.
You think that was a struggle for us?
I think it was.
In which way?
Well, mainly because, and don't take this the wrong way.
Oh, I'm going to.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll work it out later.
No, you can't. You may have to work it out now.
Hey, no problem.
Okay.
But when it came to you and your task and how you liked organization and how you want to do things a certain kind of way about everything, that was one that for me, I'm not saying for you, but for me, it was definitely something I had to navigate, and had a lot of conversations with you about certain things. I was like, babe, I get what you're getting at, but we just can't do it that way.
Yeah.
And
we're still balancing that.
We definitely are. And luckily you were open to hear me. And then we were open to openly, honestly express it to each other what we needed. And then from there, that's where the compromise will come in most of the time.
Yeah,
we were just literally like, look, babe, I need this, you need that, but we got to meet somewhere.
Yeah. But I appreciate the fact that you knew how I was. Yeah. Once you learned me, you knew how I was, and you weren't expecting me to change. The very same for you. You're free-flowing, TC time, do everything whenever you want, and that time never has gotten here after many decades. I mean, we don't know where the time is. And
many decades.
Like decades. I'm just like, are you ever going to get the task done? And it's like, babe, see.
You haven't been dated for 2 years.
The decades have been here, baby, and the tasks still have not been done. So I had to learn how to be patient and compromise.
You knew that when you was a baby?
A baby. Yeah. And then before conception and everything else.
Kind of figured that.
Yeah. And you still ain't get it done. So. But no, I had to learn to be compromising to that, but also sometimes because there's certain tasks that have to be done. So I think that's where we balance each other out, the area in which we balance each other out, and because I'm just like, we have to get this done, babe. And you're like, oh, okay. But then when you know me, I know you. So when I keep repeating it
several times,
it's an action item that needs to be done.
Go ahead and get to work.
Absolutely.
Put that cape on and go do what I gotta do.
Yeah, the cape should have been on a long time ago, so I'm not even worrying about the cape now.
Hey, you want me to be me?
God help us. So yeah, I couldn't expect you to be me.
No, because I'm not you.
That's right. And you couldn't expect me to...
I don't want to date me.
Yes, you do not. I'm telling you. If you know what I mean, you don't. I'm just teasing. No. But you will have so much disappointment. A person will have so much disappointment if you expect you from everybody else. So do not. And do not expect that from your partner. Your partner are their own individual person. And if you get nothing else from today with the expectations and standards, know that they're two separate things. And also know that don't expect that from the other person. You can sit down and talk to them and chat it up and, try to get on the right page or the same page with them about what the expectations are and do the same, let them do the same for you. But don't go around harboring hate and everything in your heart because they're not meeting your expectations. It's not even worth it.
No, it's definitely not worth it.
You don't wanna go in it like that. Like that's detrimental to your relationship. Mm-hmm. So it's time for a quickie. Okay. What we got today?
What is an expectation or standard you have of me? And then how am I exceeding? Because I'm or failing, but I think you're probably exceeding in that area. Provide me with an example. So I'm going to let the lady go first, the beautiful lady.
So the expectation is every day you're supposed to fold the clothes, put the clothes up, and make sure to look at your face. And if everybody knows...
She's joking because she wants me to fold stuff because she likes how I fold clothes. She said, I don't know how you be folding it so perfect and got this, that.
No, you do fold clothes very well, but how long does it take to get to folding the clothes?
TC time might be 2 or 3 days.
All the time.
Maybe a week.
Easily, yeah. So, we have to compromise. So that
in my defense.
Here we go.
In my defense, no, stop, babe. So I started back coaching AAU basketball. So for my son, because this is last year playing, right? Keep in mind, don't give me that look. Don't give me that look.
Get to the story, babe.
And I have practice 2 days a week. And when I'm not at practice, normally I'm at my part-time job.
Lies.
That's what we doing?
We are telling lies right now out that mouth. Babe, today is what...
Today's Wednesday.
Okay,
yes. It is Wednesday.
And we record on Wednesday. We're recording this week on Wednesday. So anyway, you've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that you worked from home. Well, we're going to say Monday and Wednesday.
Tuesday I went to office.
Okay, you didn't have to on Monday. Just yesterday you had to.
I did. I had to pick you up from the airport.
You could have still came home and done the clothes first and then went and did the airport task.
Oh, that's what we doing?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You didn't come back. Where you at?
No, you would have still been there because that's a standard. You like that. So anyway, before we close, that was just a joke about the expectation, but no, I'm really serious. But what is the expectation or standard that you may have of me, and how am I meeting or failing that? And I'll give you a real example of mine. Please say that physical touch.
It is.
I know.
My expectation No, and keep in mind, she was not used to that coming into this relationship. I'm being honest, babe. She wasn't used to that.
And babe, neither were you.
I wasn't used to physical touch?
Not at that degree. You wanted it more and more and more.
Oh, that's what we doing?
That's what we doing.
Oh, we about to have a dust up.
That's fine. That's fine.
Dust up on
we can go. There you go. We can go there. Wait a minute.
That's what y'all want.
Let me go get my boxing gloves, because I know to throw down.
She can't fight.
Stop that.
She can't fight.
Anyway, get to it.
So
you had an expectation.
I had a. Let me say it like this, and don't take this the wrong way. I had an expectation that this time around I wanted to get as much as I could from what I wanted out of the relationship.
And you made that very clear in the beginning, so I'm not mad at you.
Yes, I did.
You did.
So it was an expectation initially, but now it's a standard.
It is.
We tend to hold hands while we're in the car. We tend to do all kind of stuff while we in the car together, physical touch-wise. We might be playing. She like laying on my chest or whatever.
In the car?
You haven't?
Come on, babe. Come on now. Come on, keep going, babe.
Come on now.
Keep going.
Come on now.
Keep going, babe.
Okay. So when it comes to that, that was one of the expectations I had in the relationship, or that I wanted from the relationship or from her. And then I definitely expressed that very early. So she could understand it. Because, like I said, she didn't experience that in her last relationship. And maybe the relationship before that. I can't really speak to that, but I got a feeling she didn't, because it was almost like it was foreign to her when it was happening. Don't go look at me like that.
I'm not, because it was foreign to me, but yet you had experienced it, but you still craved it. So you didn't get as much as you wanted. So you're like all the time. So we've had this conversation.
So let me say this. And
we had to go talk about the balance. I hope you get into that part.
So yes, there is a balance to it.
Thank you.
And I've expressed this to her on numerous occasions. I absolutely adore this woman across from me.
Oh, thank you. Good way to sum it up.
I really do. Save that.
No, you did. I
saved that one. But
oh, you smooth until we hit N. Until we hit well, yank that ear.
But no.
I love you.
But I truly adore this woman. And you ever had somebody in your life that you almost craved them?
Oh, don't make me cry.
So I had this feeling that I crave being with her. I crave holding her. I crave, kissing her. I just crave her. And I had to tell her that.
You did.
I absolutely adore her to the utmost. And I didn't want it to come off the wrong way. So I had to let her know. I said, babe, so when I do these certain things, and of course we had the conversation, because she was like, babe, I think you're doing too much. You're like overwhelming me. And I told her why. And she's like, okay, I can understand that, but we still have to balance it out. Which, we've had conversations where, we know, okay, I'll tone it down a little bit, or at least I'll try to. But I really adore this woman. I truly adore this woman.
Thank you, handsome. I love you.
Thank you.
You're the sweetest.
I almost gave you a nickname. I don't think to call you the nickname.
Don't do that. Don't come on. This okay. All right. Okay, so am I exceeding that?
You're exceeding that. You are definitely exceeding that. It's funny because she sent me a little reel she was working on for All in Our Business, and we were at the spa. And we were in one of the saunas, and I tend to fall asleep in the saunas because, after you're in there a couple minutes, you just get so relaxed. But we're sitting there. I'm actually, I guess I was asleep, but I'm holding her hand while I'm asleep in the sauna, and she's up. I think she was reading or doing whatever, but she was up. But I'm sitting there asleep, but I'm holding her hand. And then another thing she tells me this all the time, and she's like, I don't get it. I don't know how you do this.
I don't.
But when we're laying together, we're cuddling, I can be asleep, and I'm still like rubbing on her belly.
Yes.
And I wake up, and she's like, babe, you're just like rubbing on my belly for like a straight hour. And you're asleep. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Because I'm asleep, but she's like, you're sitting there. I don't know if it's a
soothing technique. Yeah.
But I'm sitting there rubbing on her belly while she's asleep. I'm holding her, we're cuddling. And I hope she loves that.
I do. I love everything
for her,
you do.
she was just like, what?
Initially. While you're asleep.
You're asleep.
Yeah. You're snoring and rubbing at the same time. And drooling too.
Right.
No, so I guess my standard would be, and I've always told you this, that I don't care about anything. I don't care about money. I don't care about
material things.
None of that. Like, none of that matters. I literally just want someone who loves me. And that's a standard for me.
I'm the man for the job.
And you've been doing a great daggone job at it.
I need a raise.
Okay. Oh, I can give you that. Definitely. Yes. With a bonus too.
Come on, let's
tips.
get off podcast.
So nonetheless, you are exceeding my expectation with that standard.
Okay.
No, but you really love me, and you love me in just your everyday actions. You know, something as small, and we talk about the small things all the time. Just texting to say, "Hey, babe, I love you." Every morning you kind of do. I'm so thankful for something that relates to our love, and you send me this beautiful message about it. You're always kind when you're speaking to me, even when we have, you know, little heated moments. You're always just addressing me, your beautiful queen. That matters. Those small things really matter. Just showing love in every single way, you know, and in a crazy world where you go out and you have to deal with people and demons, you have to deal with people's spirits and just so much attack and everything else on you, to come home and know that that's your safe place and know that you are my safe spot. That really not just gives me peace, but it makes me love you and want to continue to love you even more. So that was a standard, and you are exceeding that standard. Now with the clothes, if you can meet that expectation, we'll be doing great, baby, and a few other little things, but you know, you're doing great. Yes, time for your raise. All right.
I'm about to show you.
I can hide. You can show me better than you can tell me.
Oh, wow. All right, so look, we about to get out of here. We got things to do all of a sudden.
Things to do.
So, thank you for tuning in to another episode.
Hit the end button. We out of here. Pete. Oh, no? Oh.
Yeah, give out.
Okay, the proper outro. Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. We thank you. We appreciate you. Please, please, please hit us up on fan mail. We have that option.
Please, y'all, just respond. Let us know you out there. Come on. Cleo can't be the only one hitting this button.
Cleo, shout out. We got our mamas listening every week. Mama Ross, Mama Betty, Mr. Francis. Yes. Shout out. Thank you for our weekly listeners. Thank you, Cheryl. She's always trying to find us on YouTube. She gotta make sure our YouTube is up.
Get y'all posted on YouTube.
That's right. Get it up there. So we thank you just for every week listening and tuning in. People always ask, how can I support? And that's just how. Or share it with somebody else. Even if they don't want to hear it, just share it with them. Again, we're not relationship experts. We're just two people in love with each other on an assignment.
We're sharing that with y'all.
That's it. On God's assignment. That's it. And we're just talking about all things relationships, no matter what it is. You know, we're open books. So like I said, hit us on fan mail. We're also on IG, which is Instagram, at allin.ourbusiness. You can see us there. You can share moments with us. Tap into us so you can see all we doing and all in our business. And there you can also DM us if you got any questions, if you want us to discuss something. And we don't have to mention your name. Definitely we will make sure.
But if you want us to,
and we have no problem doing it.
No shout outs.
Absolutely. You know we would do it. So, you know, tap in, let us know, and just share. We're doing this each and every Tuesday. A new episode is releasing. We got some hot topics that are forthcoming for the next few weeks.
What we got next week? What's next week's topic?
Next week's topic, what are we talking about? We're talking about something that's really good. Setting boundaries.
Your relationship. That's another hot topic. You'd be surprised what people are doing. You'd be surprised.
You will be surprised. I mean, no, it's a great topic because you need to set boundaries, and we've had to do that. I'm sure once we move to our next phase of, you know, engagement and marriage and everything, we'll have to do some more boundary setting. But it's perfectly fine.
Some people definitely gonna have some boundaries set.
Yeah, you gotta have some boundaries, but it's good because it's for a healthy relationship.
It is. It definitely is.
So that doesn't mean you can have a woman best friend out here that's not me. Oh, you can't?
No, okay. I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Okay. You can't have a work wife?
No.
Okay. You can't go out and chill with the women on the weekend?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just thought I'd ask some questions.
Temptation is real out in the streets.
And what you tempted by?
By you.
Oh, okay, good. Good answer.
That's the only thing I'm tempted by.
So, no, next week we are talking all things.
Maybe that rib, I might. I'm just playing.
Next week we are talking about setting boundaries, y'all. So tap in in, let us know. If y'all had to set some boundaries, or y'all had some crazy expectations, or you were with somebody that had some crazy expectations of you and it just was wild and you want to share, you know how to hit us up. Hit us up, let us know, and we will just chat with you. Thank you.
Peace.